Hello everyone and welcome to my Wrath of the Lich King Inscription guide. In this guide I'm gonna talk about the benefits of choosing Inscription in Wrath of the Lich King, but also the profits you can make. At the same time I'm also gonna show you how I level from 1 to 450 and what materials I use and what I craft. Anyway, enjoy the video. So first I'm gonna talk about the benefits of choosing Inscription. As an inscriptor you can make different glyphs in Wrath of the Lich King. This is an easy way to level your inscription, but also to make gold at the same time, because these you can sell to other people on auction house, and glyphs is going to be mandatory for all classes, because they will improve your character's ability by a lot. And in case you discover a new glyph that no one else can craft on your server, then you can charge a huge fee. Another way to make gold is to craft the Dark Moon cards. This will allow you to craft a random generated card, and some of these will sell for thousands of gold. Here's an example of what you can craft when you combine the different Dark Moon cards. The Greatness cards is always the most expensive. On a fresh server, these usually go for anywhere between 10 to 20,000 gold, and I'm talking about a fresh server. The main reason why this trinket is so expensive is because it's going to be the best in slot trinket for a lot of different phases. As an inscriptor, you can also make these held in offhands. These you can craft in order to level your inscription, and they're also fairly decent in the first phase. At the same time, you can also craft the armor and weapon willem, or however you pronounce this. This will allow you to store enchants on these, so you can post them on auction house and sell the enchants that way, or maybe keep them for another time. When you reach level 400 inscription, then you can also learn shoulder enchants. Without inscription, you will have to do a long chain and reach exalted reputation with Son of Hudir in order to get some decent shoulder enchant in Wrath of the Lich King. That's another reason why inscription is so powerful, because you will save a lot of time not having to grind the reputation, but instead you can just craft these whenever you get a new pair of shoulders. One thing that is important to know about this is that you will cause the item to become soulbound. So when you enchant your shoulders, you will not be able to trade this item to other people. So the enchant is for yourself only. I know normal enchants you can just open a window and the enchanter can do the enchant, but that's not the case with this one. You can only do it on your own items. Another important thing to know is that when you choose this profession, you will also learn the ability milling. Now you can mill 5 herbs into different pigments, but you will need to be a required level in order to mill the different herbs. So you cannot choose level 1 inscription and do this to Northrend or TPC herbs. Alright, with all that being said, now it's time for me to show you the materials that I use, but also what I craft to reach level 450. All the different pigments that you see in my inventory right now is the total amount of pigments that I used to reach max level. On the screen you can also see the total amount of classic pigments, TBC pigments and Wrath of the Lich King pigments. If you don't buy the pigments on auction house, then usually you get between 2 to 4 pigments for each 5 herbs that you mill. Therefore, you will probably have to expect to get twice as many herbs compared to the pigments that I show you right here. This information will be useful in case Wrath of the Lich King Classic happens, because then you can prepare all the classic and TBC herbs that you will need, so the total amount to reach level 375. I usually come to Dalaran when I want to learn a profession in Wrath of the Lich King, but you could always find some open world trainers, and I will list them in the description below this video. Make sure to buy an inking set from the vendor right next to. Now you're ready to level your inscription. At this point you'll need to convert your pigments into ink, but make sure you don't do this with all the pigments. You just need to reach level 20 at this point. Once you have reached level 20, go to the trainer and learn Scroll of Stamina. If you're wondering where to get the parchment, it's at the same vendor as you bought the ink set. Now you're ready to craft the Scroll of Stamina. You will have to do this all the way up to level 35. At level 35, you talk to the trainer and learn Moonglow ink. The Moonglow ink is converted by the Alablaster pigments that you also used in the beginning, and that's why it was so important that you didn't convert it all into Ivory ink. At this point, you can chill for a bit. Now you have to convert the remaining pigment into Moonglow ink. When you do this, you should expect to reach around level 55. It doesn't matter if you don't reach level 55, just make sure you reach at least level 50. Next you will have to use all your Moonglow ink to craft Armor Vellum. You have to do this to reach level 75. When you reach level 75, And if you haven't already learned Journeyman Inscription, then you need to make sure you do this now, else you will not be able to continue leveling your inscription. For the next 5 levels, you will have to convert your pigments into midnight ink. But you should not stop converting this when you reach level 80. Just convert all of it into ink, because you'll need this to continue your leveling. Now you'll have to learn the different glyphs from the trainer, and you will have to craft different glyphs from level 80 all the way up to level 100. Make sure to only craft 5 glyphs at a time, and also make sure to check auction house if one of these is the most expensive, because as I said earlier, you can resell these. The main reason why you should only craft 5 at a time, or will grant 5 levels at a time, is because for every 5 levels there's a chance that you can learn a new glyph from the trainer. And the old skill might be yellow at this point and not grant you a 100% chance to give a skill. In other words, make sure that the glyphs that you craft from level 80 to 100 is always an orange skill. From level 100 to 105, you have to convert all your golden pigment into lion's ink, but you need to convert all 65, so you can just go FK for a bit. For the next 45 levels, so all the way up to level 150, you have to craft different glyphs. It's important that you only craft 5 at a time, so you make sure that the skill that you do is always orange. In case you would like to make as much gold as possible, make sure to always check what is the most expensive new glyph that you learn. This way you can sell it on auction house and maybe make 5 to 10 times profit. Another important thing that you should know is that when you reach level 145, you cannot learn any new glyph for the next 5 levels, so you will have to do some yellow crafts. At 150, you will have to convert all your pigments into jade fire ink. All the ink you will need to use in order to craft different glyphs, and you will have to do this for a lot of levels. At 175, it's important that you visit the trainer and learn royal ink. Once you have successfully converted all of it, you need to craft the arcane tarot. This you do all the way up to level 185. From 185 to 200, you just craft different glyphs. At level 200, you have to learn the celestial ink, and once again, you probably guessed it, you need to convert all your pigments into this type of ink. At 205 to 210, you have to craft the armor vellum. From 210 all the way up to 225, so for 15 levels, you craft different glyphs. At 225, you will learn the fairy ink. Convert all of this and see how far you get. Usually it's around 229. It doesn't really matter what level you reach at this point, just make sure to convert all the pigments. Next you will have to craft glyphs, and this you do to 235. At 235, you will learn a new weapon vellum. This you'll have to do for the next 15 levels, all the way up to 250. At 250, you will convert all your pigments into the new shimmering ink. And at 255, once you have converted all of it, you will start making the scroll of spirit. This you do up to 260. At 260 to 275, so for 15 levels, you will craft different glyphs. At 275 to 285, you will convert your sapphire pigment into ink of the sky. You will no matter what grant 10 level at this point. From 285 to 290, you will craft 5 different glyphs. At 290, you will be done with your classic herbs, and at this point, when you need to make the ethereal ink, you will start using TBC herbs. Now you'll have to craft a lot of different glyphs. You will have to do this for the next 45 levels, up to 350. At 350, you will have to talk to the trainer to learn Ink of the Sea. Ink of the Sea is crafted when you convert your Azure pigment. This pigment is from Northrend herbs, so you can no longer use your TBC herbs. Once you've converted all of them, you will have to use the ink to craft different scrolls. For every 5 levels, you will be able to train a new type of scroll. It's important that you do this to maintain an orange craft. At 375, you learn Snowfall ink. You have to use your icy pigment to make this kind of ink. In case you were super unlucky and didn't get any skill ups when you did the Snowfall ink, then don't worry, you will easily catch up. Now you need to make a few glyphs till you hit 385. At 385, talk to the trainer and learn Northern Inscription research. Now every 20 hours you can learn a new glyph. By doing this, you also unlock a new glyph and you will continue to level with an orange skill. The reason why it's important to do this is because all the other skills will be green. But there is another trick that you can do. Talk to the vendor in front of you because she sells a technique. This will also grant you an orange skill. So by doing this, you save the Northrend Inscription research for later on. The recent glyph that you just learned, you have to craft all the way up to 400. At level 400, talk to the trainer to learn Scroll of Stamina. For the next 30 levels, you will have to do different scrolls. Scrolls of Spirit, Intellect, Strength and Agility. And every 5 levels, you will learn a new type of scroll. So make sure to always visit the trainer. At level 430, it gets a bit tricky. For the next 20 levels, you can level a lot of different ways. You can level fast, but that is also expensive, but at the same time you might also make some profit. Or you could level really slow and spend next to no materials. The slow way of leveling is to do the Northrend Inscription research every 20 hours. This is cheap, but also slow. The expensive way is, however, to craft the Dark Moon cards. The materials is very expensive, and you also need to provide a lot of these. However, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, some of the Dark Moon cards will cost a lot. So in case you're lucky and you get the right ones, then you might also make a profit. The good thing, however, is that this skill will stay orange all the way up to 450, so it's a guaranteed level every time you craft a Dark Moon card. In case you're also trying to get a Dark Moon card yourself, then you might be able to trade some of these with other inscriptors to make your deck a lot faster. At 440, you will be able to do the remaining 10 levels a lot cheaper. Talk to the trainer and learn the Rune Scroll of Fortitude. This skill will only stay yellow for a couple of levels, but it's also way cheaper to level like this, so it's definitely worth it. Another thing you can combine with this is to wait for the Northrend Inscription research. That way you'll level the cheapest way as possible. Another trick that I would like to share with you is that right next to the vendor you will find this ink trader. If you have one ink of the sea, you can trade it into different inks. It's all beside the Snowfall ink where you need to pay 1. For the Snowfall ink you'll need to pay a total of 10. Alright, so that's about it for this video. In case you found it useful, then you might also enjoy some of my other Wrath of the Lich King videos. As always, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Peace.